What's up, guys? Today the lawnmower we are going to be looking at today is this Honda HR194. We've owned this about a month now, and I just thought I'll get a video of it over with before the winter comes around. So it's very close. It's right around the corner. So this thing has been a lot of trouble. We bought this off a guy on Craigslist about a month ago, as I just said. And the funny part is, where we live, there's a big road, Route 56, that separates. There's a neighborhood that's identical to this on the other side of Illinois 56, which is just down the street, and he's right on. The guy who sold it to us is just right on the other side of that road, so we're very close to the guy who sold this to us. But it did have a few problems when we got it, and the guy basically scammed us. He told us that it ran fine. He told us that there's no problems. He says he used it about 3 months ago, and his excuse was he was upgrading to a mower with self-propelled. But this thing, when we first got it, it would not run at all. So it's been a few weeks of troubleshooting and searching for parts on eBay. So here's what we've done to it. I've actually done a lot of the work on this thing. I found the parts, and I replaced them with a bit of help from my dad. But he got this for 45 bucks, which, you know, obviously we probably could have gotten it for like 15 or 20 if Dad had known at the time that it was broken, and if we would have just asked the guy to test it before we bought it. But again, the guy scammed us, so this thing has still got some issues. So the first thing you guys might notice, if you really care about details, you'll probably notice that the spark plug socket, or whatever you want to call it, is sticking out farther than it usually does. That's because this whole coil with the spark plug socket attached to it came off an HR214. We bought that part off eBay because the ignition coil on this thing was completely fried, we think. It just wouldn't start. We couldn't get it to spark. We couldn't get spark out of this thing at all. So we figured it could be that, because we checked the spark plug. The spark plug was fine. We tried the spark plug from an identical mower that we have. We have an HR194, which is basically the same thing as this, just self-propelled and a bit wider. So we swapped out the spark plugs, and this still wouldn't start. So, I'll get back to that in just a minute. I just wanted to go over one little detail. You know, it's kind of a pet peeve for me. The sticker here is missing. This says choke, high, low, you know. That's just a pet peeve that I got about this mower. Cosmetically, it's in fair condition. This was a lot more rusted up, but a few days ago, I got some steel wool and just rubbed the crap out of it for about half an hour. So, it's done a pretty good job. So anyway, the new coil that came off the HR214 came in the mail yesterday, and we installed it. It was actually a lot different from the coil that was on there, so we were afraid it wouldn't work, but we put it on, we tested it, and we had spark. So at that point, we figured if there was gas in it, then it should start. And it did. But there is one more problem with this mower. We think it's the blade clutch. Basically, when you start this thing up, it makes a terrible sound. In fact, when I start this thing up, if you guys have headphones or earbuds in, I suggest you turn them down, because this thing makes a terrible screeching sound when it's running. And, you know, as you guys can tell, I just did the lawn with this thing. It actually performed very nicely, but again, when the blade is not engaged, it makes a very bad squealing sound. And then you engage the blade, and the sound isn't as bad, but it's still pretty bad. So, anyway, We're just gonna, before we start it up, I'm gonna show you guys a few things about it. These are some of my favorite mowers. They're from the 1980s, and we actually bought this one because we used to have a different HR194, but unfortunately we were being careless, and what happened was we were working on it, we set it on top of something, and it fell right off. So bent the frame out of place, we think, so we just sold it on Craigslist and got a fair amount of money for it. But you got the air cleaner. Very easy to take the air cleaner off. Those are made so you can just unscrew them. Again, you got your oversized spark plug socket there because it came off an HR214 pull starter. Of course, you got your bag. The last one we had didn't have a bag, so that's cool. Got the control here. This is the standard control. This isn't the huge control with the 2 levers on it that some of these have. This is just the simple choke, high, medium, and low and off. And then, of course, you got your blade control right there. That engages the blade. That turns it off. So, again, and also this thing has a bit of a problem with the linkage on it. So, if I put it to choke, I'm not sure if it's actually choked because it actually runs better and faster if the choke is off. We also think there's a bit of a running problem with this thing because it does idle very high. So we're just gonna go ahead and start this thing up and let you guys listen to it and see what you guys think. The reason why I'm in my yard is because my dad has music playing in the garage over there, and there's a window, so I don't want to get flagged for any copyrighted music. And also, we're in the process of power washing. You can see our Honda power washer over there, so don't want that to get in the way. So we're over here. That's where I usually take my lawnmower videos, but we're over here. So I'm not going to walk around too much. I don't want to ruin my epic lawn mowing job. So so we're just going to leave it choked and start this thing up. So here we go. Now, I kind of turned it off there on purpose. Another thing that I was going to point out is it dies if you put it too low, and I thought that was very interesting. That's supposed to be off right there, but instead if it gets any lower than like right there, I would say it dies. I don't know why that is. So let's go ahead and start this thing back up and engage the blade for you guys. Yeah, but that screeching sound it makes is just ear splitting. I mean, and I'm not over exaggerating or anything. That sound is ear splitting. So we just think that's the blade clutch. That can be fixed if we just replace it. But yeah, it's just your basic Honda HR series mower from the 1980s. This is either an 83 or an 86. I forgot. But yeah, as you guys can see, it's got a few problems with it, but 45 bucks, it's not terrible. I think if we would have, brought some gas along and asked the guy if we could start it up, and it, we could have figured out there it didn't start it at all, we could have probably offered him like 15 or 20 bucks for it. So, but the guy scammed us. This is just a, we got kind of scammed on this thing, but, for the most part, it was a, it doesn't bug me. Again, I used it to mow the lawn today. It did a very nice job, so. Besides the noise, I got no complaints. Cosmetically, it's pretty good. As I said, it's fair, probably better than fair, actually. Shiny, not too many dings or dents in it. So, your oil plug is down there. So yeah, and you got the PX there. I think the letters that are always printed there, they always stand for something, like the features it has or something. So, but after this I'm going to get out the HR194 and make a quick video of that. So, thanks for watching this, and that'll be it.